Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. You remember in our last video we took the sandrail out to Little Sahara, out to the dunes, and we had a great time. Had a couple of issues with it, so what we're going to do in this video is we're going to build a shifter for this sand car, and I'll show you why. So the shift lever that was in this car is this little short dude right here. You can see the total length of the thing is not very long. We've got it all tore apart. This box here just sits, it's just an empty box. Any of you that are familiar with a VW shifter, that empty box just sits right there. This shifter, it goes down in here like so. Anyway, this goes clear down in the hole. There's a slot in there, if I can find it. Oh, well, anyway, the pin is messed up. This pin right here is supposed to be in there with a retainer, and it's not. It's all rusty. The inside of this little part of the linkage here where the shifter goes was pretty rusted up. So what we've done is I ordered a new shifter for it, this one here, and what we're going to do is I'll cut this shifter off about right here, because the part I needed was this. I needed this. We needed a new spring, and we needed a new boot. So we've got the new boot, the spring, the reverse plate. Here's the old boot. Kind of had to turn it inside out to get it off, but it's, you know, pretty messed up. It's pretty worse for wear. And you can't get a lot of crud down in that, or it doesn't want to shift. And we had a heck of a time trying to get this thing to shift out there. When I got it home, I had my son's trailer, and you know, having to work all week and stuff, I just left it on the trailer sitting out here for the week. When I went to take it home to him on the following Sunday morning, I unstrapped the sandrail, we fired it up, and I couldn't get it to go in any gear. It had nothing to do with the clutch or any of that. It was in that linkage and stuff. So that little stubby little shifter that's in there is just too short. You don't have any leverage. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up the forge, and I'm going to forge out about a 1/2 inch square piece of billet. We're going to do a pineapple twist on it, and we're going to put a handle on it, just like a set of knife scales, like you would on a tang. And then we'll weld that to where I cut off the new shifter. So the new shifter will only come up to the top of the boot, so that the boot fits properly, you know, still around the round shifter shank, and then above that is where we'll weld our pineapple twist shifter on there with a knife handle type handle, so you'll no longer thread on we'll no longer thread this on there. We'll figure out something else to use that for, I guess. But we're going to make our shift handle, it'll be something like this, you know, so you'll be, and then your shift lever will be down below. But what we'll do is we'll take a square piece of steel. I'll have to draw out a piece of leaf spring. It's got to be pretty tough. So I'll draw out a piece of leaf spring, we'll shape the one end for a handle, and we're going to put finger grips in it and what have you, make it kind of like a Venom shifter. And then the shaft itself will have a pineapple twist in it. So it's going to be a pretty cool little project. We won't get it all done today, but we'll try to get the pineapple twist done and get the handle shaped and all of that. So stick around. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you to all my subscribers. Love you guys. Great to have you aboard. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. So let's get to it. Got to get this squared up. I want it to be about a ½ an inch square before we put our cuts in it and do our twists. got it pretty straight here. If you've watched my previous videos, you know I don't like fumbling around with tongs. So I just welded this piece of rebar on it to use them as a handle. I find it to be much easier. When you're done, you cut it off, you grind it off, no harm, no foul. Fumbling with tongs just adds more trouble to me. I've got plenty of rebar lying around, and I just weld a piece of rebar on. So what we're going to do now is on each flat side, we're going to cut a groove in the center of all 4 sides, and then we'll heat it up again. So we've got to let it cool off for a little bit. Then we'll heat it up again, and we'll put it in a vise, and we'll twist it. Depending on how big you want your little diamonds to come out in your pineapple twist, how many turns you turn this determines how big or small your little diamonds will be. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to twist it about a turn and a half maybe, and then we'll flatten it out. We'll put it back in the forge and we'll flatten it out again, and then we reheat it. Then we cut our slots again. After we've flattened it out on the anvil, then we'll cut our slots in all 4 sides again. Then we'll twist it back 3/4 of a turn, and that'll give us that cool looking pineapple pattern that we're looking for. But we've got to let it cool off for a little bit. So we'll get it cooled off here a little. We'll get it back in the vise. We'll cut our slots and we'll go from there. So we've got all 4 sides sliced down the center. You don't go very deep. You don't have to go real deep. So now we're going to put this back in the forge. We'll heat it all up again and we'll twist it. There's one twist, 1 1/4. And there's a twist and a half. There she is. So now we'll put it back in the vise and we'll square it back up. I mean back in the forge. Squared it back up again. You can see that. You want it to be square again. It's got a little bit of a curve in it here. So even though it's twisted, we've squared it back up. Now we're going to let it cool off again. And then we'll recut our cuts again, and then we're going to twist it back 3/4 of a turn, because it's 2 to 1. So our first twist was a turn and a half. Now we'll make our cuts in it again, and then we'll twist it back 3/4 of a turn, exactly half as much as we turned it in the first place, and that'll bring out our our pineapple pattern. See how our lines meet right up with our previous lines. Now see how this here we haven't done yet. So it's still twisted, but there's our line at the top, there's our line at the bottom, and we'll just cut that line to meet right up again, the same as it was before we twisted it. Got all our cuts back in there. Now we're going to go put this back in the forge, and we're going to untwist it the opposite way that we twisted it, 3/4 of a turn, because our initial twist was 1.5 turns. Quarter. There's 1/2. And there's 3/4 of a twist. And there we've got a pretty nice looking pineapple twist. That should make a pretty cool looking gear shift lever. Now we'll come up here and we'll draw this out, flatten it out where our handle is going to go. We're going to basically make our handle the same way that we would scales on a knife. So there that is. So, there's our pineapple twist, guys. That's pretty cool looking, I think. It's a pretty neat little way to do it. We didn't really measure things, and we didn't really make sure that our lines were right down the center, but it still comes out looking quite cool. We'll wire brush this, we'll power wire brush it when we're done. And I'm not sure what kind of finish I'm going to do on it. I may just go ahead and oil it like you would a coat hook, or a can opener, bottle opener, something like that. Or I may brush it up real good and then clear it. I don't know. I haven't decided how we're going to do that yet. But now we're going to go ahead and heat this part up here, and we're going to make our shift lever. We got to flatten this out quite a bit up here, just like you would a knife tang. Basically, we're putting a knife tang on a gear shifter is what we're doing here. So let's get that done. twist, and we've got our rough shape where our shift handle is going to be. Now all we need to do is let this thing cool off, and we'll just going to stick it down into my hardy hole here at the anvil. I've got the fan set up right over here so that I can stay semi-cool here. It's really hot in this shop in the summertime, but we'll let that cool off slowly, and then we'll come back. Boy, it really burns, gets sweat in your eyes. I'm here to tell you. Anyway. Whew. So we'll let this thing cool off. Then we'll cut off our handle. Because we're all done with the forging and the bending and twisting and cutting and all of that. So once it's cooled off here, we'll cut off our handle. We'll take it to the grinder and we'll grind in our finger grooves there. And I'll show you how this is going to set in the car and everything. So we're getting there. We'll drill some pinholes. We're going to pin it just like we would a set of knife scales. And we're going to put a set of knife scales on it, just handle scales the same as we would a knife, except it's going to be a shifter handle. I think that's pretty cool. Stick around. We'll go to the grinder here in a little bit when this thing cools off. She's gonna be good, guys. Yep, that's gonna work out real nice. Got to clean it up a little more, but we're right there. Those finger grooves are surprisingly perfect. Look at that. They fit right in there just right. That's going to make a nice shift lever right there. And it'll be tall enough that I have a little bit of leverage. That little short sawed off thing was just too short for what I got to do. Well, what do you think, guys? We've still got to wire brush this pineapple twist, and I'm going to round this so that it will weld to the rounded part of the shifter that's still there, you know, where I'm going to cut that shifter off. But we'll get some handle scales put on that, and that's going to make, you know, because this is fairly thick, but it's not thick enough. We want to beef it up out this way with some scales, and I think I'll just probably use some of that thick black micarta that I made, maybe, if I have enough of it. We got it pretty well centered up. These finger holes kill me. I mean, they're right where they need to be. I mean, that's very comfortable. If that was a knife, there's no way that's coming out of your hand. So, and it'll sit just like this in the car, so that when you grab it, you're grabbing these deals here. So, I'm pretty happy with that. But I think we'll call it good for today. But there she is, my twisted pineapple twist gear shift lever. We can clean this up a little bit with the wire brush, the power wire brush, and we'll make that look a little better. And then I'm not sure, like I said, I may just paint the whole thing kind of a flat black, or I may just clean this up really well and heat it up, and you know, finish it like we would with some oil and the heat. Burn some oil into it like we would, you know, a bottle opener or a poker or something like that. Fireplace poker, keychain ring. So, but there we go. There's my little shifter for my sand car. So, all in all, pretty good day. Replaced the inner tube in the back of my grandson's motorbike. His little dirt bike. He ran over a nail when we were out at the dunes here a few weeks ago on Memorial Weekend, and it went clear through the tire. Couldn't find my tire patching kit, but that tube was full of holes from the goat heads at his parents' house anyway, so we went ahead and bought a tube for it today, put that in, got it running, and then I went ahead and made this little jewel here. I'm happy as a clam with this. I think this is going to make a nice shift handle. That thing that was in there is just too short and stubby. Plus the bottom components that goes into the shift box were pretty worn out. So we've got the brand new shifter. Let me grab that. Excuse me. So we've got the brand new shifter here. So what we're going to do with this now is the rubber, the boot comes up to about here. So we're going to cut this thing off, weld this thing on, and you see how much more shift lever that'll give us. So that's why I say I'm going to round this end where we're still squared up here from doing our twists. I'm going to round this off on the grinder, on the belt grinder here. Try to bring it down to about the same size as where this is right here. Then we cut this off. We'll grind a little of that paint off of there, and we'll bevel both edges so we can get some nice weld in there. And then instead of this, we'll have this. And this lower part down here will be covered up by the shift boot. So you won't see this part. The boot will come right up to the base of here, and should look pretty good, I think. It'll look almost like it came that way. So fun little project. Had a good time doing it. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with that shift lever, and I was just going to weld a longer piece of rod to it, and then I thought, gosh, if I'm going to go through that stuff, I might as well put my own little twist on it and make something, you know, a little out of the ordinary. So that looks pretty cool. I think that's going to make a pretty neat little shift lever. And like I say, we'll wire brush this up real good with the power wire brush on the drill. Clean that up nice and give it a nice finish. And if we're going to finish this with oil, with that antique look, give it that patina look, I'll probably do this part, all this part here of the shifter that'll show too. And well, I'll just do the whole thing, and then I'll just grind this off clean again. These flats of this tang basically is what that is. I'll grind those off clean again before I put my scales on there, and voila, shift handle. All right, guys, thanks a lot for being here, man. I sure appreciate it. I love all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, in the closing, I'll leave a little red button, a little round button right here. It'll be right here in your screen, and it'll be a picture of me sitting on my motorcycle, my old Harley Davidness. And you can click on that and come and subscribe if you would, please. Give me a thumbs up and share these videos with some of your friends if you'd like. Guys, always be careful when you're working in your shop. Wear your safety goggles, this is way better than safety goggles, let me tell you. This is like space age stuff. I can see, it doesn't fog up. I love my face shield. Problem is, it's so clear that a lot of the time I'll put it on, but I have it up here, and I'll have it on, and I'll go ahead and start grinding. I think you'll see some in this video. You saw some in this video where I forget to put it down because it's so clear. I don't realize that I don't have it down. So, love that thing. Not trying to plug anybody or anything, but it is a Celstrom. I got it off of Amazon. No, they're not paying me, but if I find something that I like that works good for me, I like to let you guys know too. So again, thanks for being here. Always be safe when you're working in your shop. Wear your gloves, your bibs so you don't light yourself on fire when you're cutting things or welding. And take care of yourself and always be careful. We'll see you on the next one. Next time we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to finish this. We'll get our scales put on it. We'll finish this part. We'll get it ground up. We'll get it welded onto there. And I don't know if we'll have time or not, but maybe we'll get it put back in the sandrail. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes things take a little longer than you think they would. So thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you on the next one.